Okay, questions 5b. We're going to just kind of take the legend that we talked about in 5a, I guess, and that, of course, was capital B with a line means this is always going to be brown, and to have blue, two little b's. Okay, I'm just carrying that over from question 5. Now, what is the probability? They want a probability that the first child of two heterozygous brown-eyed parents will have a son with blue eyes. And it says express your answer in 2 decimal places. So this question is a little bit different. We actually have 2 fractions here, 2 probability fractions. And this is called the product rule. Now we haven't talked about this quite yet in our notes, but we're just going to kind of sprinkle this in there and that, so when you see it when it comes to dihybrids later on down the road, you're going to be able to kind of have the foundation for getting this question right. So probability of having a son. So the probability of having a son is 1/2. Okay, so that's 1/2 the chances of having a son, 1/2 having a female. Probability of them being blue eyes, well, that's another probability factor that we're going to determine. In fact, we've already done this question. This is kind of very similar to question 5. 2 heterozygous, but let's just work it out really quickly. 2 heterozygous, again, hetero meaning different. There's one parent, there's the other parent. Now we've done this question, so I'm going to do this very fast. This was 5. So when we did this, you could see that 1/4 were going to be blue eyes. So with this product rule, we have to take the 2 probability fractions and multiply them together. Okay, that's what this is telling you to do, and this is the hint. Even though we didn't quite talk about it in the notes, it is going to come up. So probability of having a blue-eyed child, we just determined here, is going to be 1/4. We got to multiply that by the probability of having a son. We've not done this before. All the other previous questions were just probability of having a child, right? But this one is specifically the probability of having a son. So we already said that, well, you have a 1/2 chance of having a son. It's either going to be a son, it's going to be a daughter. And now what we do is we bring these products together, multiply. So when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerator across the top, you multiply those together. 1 times 1 is 1. And then when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply together the 2 denominators. 4 times 2 is 8. Now, they want this answer in 2 decimal places. So we're going to take that fraction and we're going to divide it. We're going to divide the numerator divided by the denominator. So 1 divided by 8 is going to be 0.125. But the question said we only want 2 decimal places. So let's count our 2 decimal places. Needs to end there. We're going to take a look at this 3rd decimal place though, and we're going to use that number to determine if we're going to round up or keep it the same. In this case, how rounding works, if you remember, if it's 5 or higher, you're going to round that 2 decimal place up to 0.13. That's our 2 decimal places. That's the probability of having a son with blue eyes when both parents are heterozygous brown. And that's our answer. Okay, a little bit different. We put in another detail here. If you have any issues with this, give me an email and we'll go over it. Thanks, guys. Bye.